and Sid Show.
Guaranteed to be enormously successful.
It's about truth, the damn truth, New York's truth, the truth behind the BS. For New York, nothing at all in between. This is Bernard McGurk.
So Bernie.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
Let's do it, Sid.
Yes, the Thompson twins. That's how we start our Wednesday morning. Another gorgeous sunny day in New York City at 10:07. Back on the Bernie and Sid Show on legendary 77 WABC. Doctor. Well, there's a reason why we're playing out, bud. We've got some huge news.
We're trying to drive away the audience.
Right. Listen to me. The majority of our audience is our age.
The Thompson
twins? They love
twins?
the Thompson twins. They had about 5 huge hits in the 80s. That's our audience.
Shotgun to my temple. I could not have said that was the Thompson twins. I don't even remember that song.
You though, again, I think by your own admission, not exactly an encyclopedia when it comes to movies or music or any of that stuff. You like 6 songs. You like one DMX song, 2 or 3.
Please. No, I forget more than I know.
The 80s is big for our audience. Huge for our audience. The 80s.
They had one big song, I think.
Who, the Thompson twins?
Yeah. Hold
No, they had
me
like
now.
7. They had like 7.
Okay, that one I know.
Hold Me Now.
Hold Me Now.
Doctor.
King
King for a Day. Huge hit.
Even though I
number
remember
1.
Hold Me Now, I still wouldn't want to hear it today. Forget Doctor.
That's a great song, man. But there's a reason behind the Doctor,
yes.
which we'll get to afterwards.
We will get to, but we have a big guest coming on this. Next hour, actually, is the former senator of Massachusetts, Scott Brown, who lost his seat to Pocahontas Senator Liz Warren from Massachusetts, the woman, the professor from Harvard who claimed to be Native American. Can you say Indian?
I can.
She claimed to be Indian. And there's a total lie. I climbed the ladder, the professional ladder, based on that.
Right. And not a total lie like Rachel Dolezal, though. I mean, there is some Indian blood in Liz Warren.
I
right?
don't know. I don't know, but whatever. It's still, essentially, she's a freaking white lady, for God's sakes.
Right.
And she ain't no, Sacagawea, whatever the hell her name is.
No,
she's Pocahontas is what she is.
Maybe
anyway.
she was sleeping with maybe she was sleeping with a Native American. That's what Sid meant. There's some
she had
Native
a
American blood
little Indian in her.
Yeah. See what she did there?
Yeah.
I see
How to
that.
explain
I
that.
got it.
Scott
Brown's our buddy, though. This will be the 3rd time Scott Brown is on the Bernie and Sid Show.
Good guy. He just resigned, actually, from the National Guard. He was there for 30 years. Did you just burp?
He just burped on the air.
Wait a minute. What?
Oh,
Christ.
my God.
I have a gas issue. We'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah, you're full of hot air, all right.
So Scott Brown, and it dovetails with our Dave Navarro from Been Caught. What's the name of the band?
Jane's Addiction. And Red Hot Chili Peppers for a couple of minutes.
Been Caught Stealing was the name of the song.
Right.
He basically, we cut him off, or he hung up on us. He didn't like the line of questioning. We were asking him about various things, including his dating Andrea Tantaros, and he acted like a total douche. And now we know why.
Well, Andrea Tantaros, for some that don't know, she was on Fox News, very popular. She was on the 5. She claimed she was demoted to outnumbered because she did not accept sexual advances from about 1,000 people now in the building. It started with Roger Ailes, I guess, like 1,000 people in the building. And in her lawsuit, which is very lengthy, I read all of it this morning, the former senator from the great state of Massachusetts, our good buddy Scott Brown, is named in that lawsuit. Now, you would think when you're named in a lawsuit, 9 times out of 10, folks are very hesitant to ever go public and talk. They want to let the law take care of it. Scott Brown can't wait to come on this show today and expose Tantaros as a liar.
Yeah, indeed. And being a pal of ours, that we decided to ask, because if you don't ask, you don't get. Anyway, the allegation is, quote, Brown made a number of sexually inappropriate comments to Tantaros on set when he was with her on Outnumbered, according to the lawsuit. And also that Tantaros would be fun to go to a nightclub with, the lawsuit says. After the show, Brown snuck up behind Tantaros, put his hands on her lower waist, And at which point, Tantaros immediately pulled back from the touch and told him to stop.
Oh, don't do that.
Now, so we have a little clip of an exchange between Andrea Tantaros and Scott Brown on the show, but our producer, Flirty Flipper, she actually, when she texted Scott Brown, she said, what did you say to him?
I said, by the way, if you ever came up behind me and did that, I would totally go to a nightclub with you.
Right. Well, because the history has been, first of all, Scott Brown, if you don't know, is a really good-looking guy.
Yes.
I mean, he's a playboy guy. So the history has been between Brown and Flipper that they do flirt back and forth on these texts.
Although he's happily married 30 years.
Yes, as she is.
with his
As
wife.
I'm happily married,
Right.
too.
That's right.
But
That's
that wouldn't stop either one of them from a night at the Howard Johnsons.
Right, and I wouldn't sue him for harassment.
There you go.
Well, let's face it. Flirty Flipper flirts with him. He doesn't reciprocate.
No, he does not.
Right,
No.
exactly.
She says, look, you're a good-looking guy, and
Right.
she's the one with the
Yep.
with the flip comments. No pun
Well,
intended.
her nickname is Flirty. So.
Listen, it got him on the show today.
That's right. It did.
Yeah.
He's coming on the show today, and this was the exchange between him and Andrea Tantaros. About 6-7 months ago?
No,
Shortly,
it was last August.
it was last
And
August. That's what I meant to say.
And it does show you how inconsistent she is in that she'll talk about something as racy as she does in this exchange, and yet on the other hand, she seems so upset over the littlest of things.
Exactly. We'll take a listen.
You have been asked
Yeah,
about
of course I have.
you posed
I
naked
did
for Cosmo.
Semi, but yes, thank you.
You were butt naked.
Yeah, you didn't see anything though.
Okay.
This is uncomfortable.
Cosmo, it was Cosmo.
Were you asked about it? We're going to ask the senator if he would ever do Playgirl, and is asking students.
So he goes, wow. She was going to ask him if you would ever do Playgirl, and he was sort of shocked. You heard him say, wow. So, yes, he denies anything, of course. And our sources, we have sources now. We did some investigating on this dating Dave Navarro because we did ask him. We put him on the spot.
Right.
And he took great umbrage at the line of questioning, saying he never dated her. And our sources tell us that they never even met.
Never even met.
Never even met.
Which, again,
he tweeted that he watches Outnumbered
Right.
at one point, and this was led to maybe in somebody's mind something happened, but they never even met.
Which, again, does not mean the way he reacted is okay. All he had to say was, hey, listen, Bernie, Sid, I don't know where you guys get information from, but we never even met. Doesn't
that's right.
excuse the fact he was a douchebag on the air with us.
In
but,
fact, it gave him the opportunity to clear the air is what it did.
right. And he refused to do that, so.
So screw him.
Right. No, he's still a jerk. Doesn't
Right.
matter what
He's still
the information is right or not.
Still persona non grata on the Bernie and Sid show.
That's right.
We
Unless
don't
he
care.
comes in studio.
Until he makes a donation to the Bernie and Sid Foundation. Then he will have access to anything he wants.
Pay for play.
Or yes,
That's
or
right.
He comes in studio after Labor Day because this week we don't have time for his for his 5'9" little ass. But anyway,
Plus, we're going on vacation next weekend.
and you seem a little off this morning.
Well,
sir. What the hell is you're walking around here all out of sorts, grumpy, and
You gotta hear this.
punching the poor intern Gil.
What I did was I stuck my finger, and somehow it got in his mouth. I don't know. So I said, "Did you lick my finger?" And he said, "What?"
He thought it was his pacifier.
He's only a high school kid.
I know.
I mean, this is borderline.
This is Roger Ailes.
No. Not Roger Ailes.
By the way, on a serious note, he's leaving on Friday. He's leaving us, Gil and Gross. We're going to miss him. He's really a great
He
kid.
lives up in Chappaqua. He's a neighbor of Bill Clinton.
He sees Bill walking the dog all
Yes,
the time.
he does.
Yeah. But the reason why I'm a bit grumpy this morning is going back to the song that we started at the very top of the show, Doctor, Doctor. See, I got to go to the doctor today, and I don't love going to the doctor, but my wife Danielle, my beautiful, loving wife Danielle, is making me do this. And then, of course, she puts the guilt trip on you. Well, it's not just about you. You've got a wife, you've got kids, and if you don't care about yourself, well, what about us? And
she's right.
I'm going to be 50 years old come April, and I got to take care of myself. And
So what's the
You're a
problem?
selfish bastard.
right.
Why are you so scared to go?
Really?
Well, because what possibly good can come from it?
But if you
Like
don't
not dying. Isn't that a good
No,
thing right there?
hold on. I don't think I'm dying anyway.
But if you don't go, you could be putting
What?
off. Like, say you have stage 1 cancer, it could be stage 4 by the time you do go.
Listen, I'm totally in Sid's camp. totally 100%.
Yeah, when was the last time you went to the
Bernard
doctor?
is walking around with a golf ball in his neck.
Last week I had a swollen lymph node in my throat under my jaw. I thought I was dying all week. I never said anything to you guys. It actually hurt.
Right.
To touch, and I felt the swelling.
We did see it. It was kind of like that.
It's still here.
It's kind of like that knot in Scottie Pippen's forehead years ago, and every day it kept getting bigger.
That's right.
Like Pinocchio's nose.
It was at one point like a golf ball, and now it's more like a marble or something. I still feel it, but so I would not go to a doctor. I'm thinking it's going to go down. It's going to go away. The pain will go away. I go home on Friday. My wife says, we have an ENT in town. I said, okay.
Okay, so Carol,
book me an appointment. I'll go.
So Carol did put the pressure on you to go like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
She calls. The doctor is on vacation. So she calls an ENT in a town that's about, 25 minutes away, Rockville Center or whatever. She says, I got you an appointment at Rockville Center. I said, I'm not going. The doctor's not in town or right around the corner. I'm not going.
It's so stupid.
And so it turns out the lymph node, the swelling has receded.
Right, you look better.
The pain is gone.
Right, you're doing great.
So I made the right decision by not going.
No,
So I'm with Sid. I hate going
if he goes
to
to the doctor, the doctor's going to pump him up with antibiotics and a whole bunch of stuff.
No,
He's
that's
fine.
not true at all. What if it is a start of like a thyroid cancer?
Well, what if you're healthy? You can't away the $50 that you could have put in the.
Look, it turns
these
out
what ifs.
it's not. It's not.
But
Look,
how do you know?
I eat healthy. I don't smoke anymore. I barely drink.
It
I
doesn't
work
matter.
out.
It doesn't
and
matter.
you go to the doctor. You make an appointment for say 1 o'clock. You're there at 3 o'clock, and they might call you by then.
This is the worst
Maybe.
thing. This is right. Why can't you, when you go to a restaurant for dinner, you have a reservation for 7 o'clock. I expect to walk into the restaurant and have dinner at 7 o'clock, and 99% of the time you do. The doctor's appointment for 2 o'clock, you don't see him until 4:30. What is that? What is that?
It's disrespectful.
Thank you.
But you're
rude,
playing with
and
your own.
It happens all the time. And by the way, you go to the doctor's office and you have like some old guy coughing, some kid wiping his nose.
Right, now
you
you're
got
sick.
the old U.S. News and World Report magazines all over the place. Germs galore. You catch some stupid staph infection. You go in healthy and you come out with a disease.
Now, how does that make sense? How do you go to the doctor's office, go in healthy, and come out sick?
But,
It makes no sense. So what? The only reason I go to the doctor these days for this checkup that my doctor makes me go for.
Why?
To get the pills. get the prescriptions, baby. Get my Ambien, get my boner pills, and I'm out. And, hey, you got to go to this clinic to get the blood work and this and that and the other. I'm saying, yeah, sure, doctor. Okay, thanks for that. I'll see you later.
See?
And I never go.
It's funny, but it's not because you really could be playing with your own life.
Oh, you see, so you're annoying to Vic too, aren't you? Admit it. You
Vic
yell
and I
at
fight
Vic.
about this all the time. He hasn't been to the doctor in 10 years.
See, Noam heard us talking about this. I walked into the newsroom. He goes, "Are you okay?" I go, "Yeah, I got to go to the doctor." He goes, "Doctor?" He goes, "Guys don't go to the doctor.
Guys don't do it."
That's why your death rate is so much higher.
No. As I told you earlier, you know why we die before you? Because we want to.
Yeah, because of you. 1-800-848-9222. Scott Brown, the aforementioned Scott Brown, former senator, he's coming on with the beginning of next hour. 1-800-848-WABC.
How's your neck, Bernie?
Bernie and Sid.
Might be back.
He's a
Might
doctor.
not.
You can say you saw the doctor today. Okay, there you go.
We may or may not be back after this.
Bernie and Sid. Live, local, on at 77 WABC.
Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of loving.
Tell you something else too, Bernard. This doctor goes anywhere near my anus today, and I'm out of there in 2 seconds. I'm running out of there like Usain Bolt.
Jeez.
Some lady called up. She said, "Bernard, that's not a joke. You got a lump on your throat. You got to get that checked." For me, nobody. The Jew dies. The Jew dies. But for Bernard, go to the doctor. Make sure you're okay.
No, people care about you too. Said, look, your wife loves you. Your family loves you. You should go to the doctor. It's the right thing to do.
I'll go if you go. Let's go together today.
I don't have an appointment.
Let's get. I don't know, maybe 2 for the price of 1. We got a good deal going here.
I'm not going. You're going to have to suffer through this by yourself.
Have you ever had a colonoscopy?
Never. I know you're supposed to have them, but when you hit 50, which I did about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And
you never did it?
No. I'm not going to do it.
Well, what scares you about it? The fasting the night before, the big hose they stick up your...
all of the above. It's just I have no history of that stuff in my family.
But doesn't mean you can't get something.
I know that.
Right. Wrecked them. They nearly killed them.
Hey, speaking of which, we have...
Jill gets a colonoscopy every night.
Yeah.
Hey, made you look.
She's hoping for,
a little brown colonoscopy.
I don't want to...
we won't say that.
I don't want to drag him into it. So Connor is here. He's our production guy.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Now, listen how sick he is.
Yeah, it happened yesterday. I just started, getting really, hoarse.
And yet you're here at work. You have a little bit of a fever. You're sick. You're getting everybody sick, but you will not go to a doctor.
No. I don't think I have a fever. I just,
No, you look terrible. Bro.
Yeah.
You really do, man.
You're pale as a ghost.
And
you look like you should be
fantastic.
You look like you should be laid out, actually, with your hands folded.
Did you honestly believe what you did in 1988 was not going to come back and haunt you?
Let's be honest with you. That was the...
So you're not going to go to a doctor?
No. Well, for this, no, I'm just going to let this one slide.
Why won't you go to the doctor?
Because it's going to, I got to go to a doctor. He's
what
like,
if it spreads?
Yeah, you're sick.
Pneumonia.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Exactly. You get a bunch of antibiotics. The stuff would have gone away anyway.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you're paying for these antibiotics. If you wait it out, it'll go away.
Right.
You don't spend 2 hours.
And my system will be stronger because of it.
Another good point.
I got to be honest. I don't think his is going. You hear him?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I got auditions to do.
He's got voice auditions today.
We kept him in the control room.
Yeah. He's using my mic, so I came in here.
He's breathing all over me now, so
it's going to go over your way.
We don't care though. No, we do actually. We don't want crash.
But again,
so
I
Friday
don't want to get you sick.
Yeah, Friday when you call the cut 9, you see Jill poking me with the stick. Gee, you should have gone to the doctor.
Further proof, though, a guy sounds that sick, he won't go to the doctor. And Noam said the same thing this morning. Noam had you had something going on.
We wish. By the way, we wish Connor well. Thank you, Connor.
Get
thank
off
you
my
very
microphone.
much.
Well, yeah,
hang in there, bro.
If Connor gets really sick and God forbid dies, then he ruins our whole theory.
If you die, I'm going to make a doctor's appointment.
I don't want to die.
Noam actually said to me this morning, guys just don't go to the doctor.
No. Well, I was listening to Bernie. I had the same thing where I had something and I probably should have had it checked out. But
What
I was
was
like,
it?
it'll go away. And eventually it did.
What was it?
I had
Right.
something on my head.
An erection?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which head?
An erection, yes.
Yeah, all kinds of things. You get these things and you think, this is it.
Right.
And you freak out, but still, take no action. Just
No,
hope for the
not at
best.
all.
When was the last time, Noam, you went to the doctor?
Probably 3 years ago.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about a physical doctor.
Yeah, right.
Not a shrink.
Guys are just tough. Curtis didn't want to go to the doctor after he got shot, okay?
That's right.
Yeah.
Curtis Sleevely, he's got half his guts.
I'll put a Band-Aid on it, it'll be fine, don't worry.
His stomach every day.
But Bernie, you shouldn't ignore a lump. In all seriousness, you should go to the doctor.
Well, Gracie just called
You
from,
shouldn't ignore
somewhere.
a lump. 1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid back after Noam with the news.
Get to Bernie and Sid now. 800-848-WABC. Where New York comes to talk. 77 WABC.
This is my Casey Kasem
I love
long
this song.
distance dedication to Angela Chase, Rolling Stones classic Angie, because we can't find her, Angie.
Actually, we found her.
What?
Angie, you there?
I'm found.
Oh, thank God. We were worried about you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's very kind.
Boy, you don't care. Let's be honest.
From here. So, how's the traffic, Andrew?
Well, do you have good news? The New Jersey Turnpike Express lanes northbound as you approach DeGaulle Avenue, that overturned tractor trailer has cleared.
Thank God.
Along with the stall in Mount Vernon on the Cross County Parkway eastbound at North Columbus Avenue. Do you have a new problem in the Bronx on the Deegan southbound after 179th with traffic stop from West 230th Street.
A lot of problems.
And right now,
BS.
traffic is brought to you by Peerless Boilers. It's time to replace that old inefficient beast in your basement with an American-made Energy Star certified Peerless Boiler. Don't wait until it's too late. Go to peerlessboiler.com to find a dealer near you.
You know what's amazing?
Our next traffic report in about 15
Thank you,
minutes.
Well, what's great about that report is that, she's actually in Los Angeles every single morning.
Listen, she does a good job.
She does a great job.
And she clearly wanted nothing to do with us.
No. No, we scare her.
To quote Mick Jagger, it's time we say goodbye.
See ya.
So Bernie and Sid on WABC.
She's hoping you don't go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Right.
Sid has a doctor's appointment this morning, and he's biting his nails. He's strutting around the place. This afternoon, his wife is forcing him to go.
Well, she's yelling at me, and she pulled the guilt thing, which is, if you don't want to go for yourself, you selfish bastard. Me and the kids, and I can't argue with that. I don't like when they take blood. It didn't bother me when I was younger, but as I'm getting older, it seems to bother me.
Wow! Your wife pushed out 2 kids.
No, here's the worst part. I go to my doctor for this, annual checkup,
right?
And then she sends you to these clinics. She gives you these tickets and say, "Oh, now you have to go here for the blood work. You have to go here for this, that." I don't want to go. I'm going one-stop shopping.
That's
I'm
it.
Here.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah, but that gives you
give
an
me
out.
the prescriptions.
But that gives you
and
an
let
out.
me go.
Yeah, but then then you're out. You're good.
Give me the Ambien.
Do you tell?
Give me the boner pills.
Right. Give me the Viagra.
I'll see you later.
Be honest. When the doctor says you got to take this certificate now next Thursday to get your blood taken, be honest. Do you tell Carol that day you went there and you go for lunch or you go to an Asian massage parlor, whatever you do? Be honest.
Now, Carol, a good wife that she is, she thinks that I'm taking care of all this stuff, that I'm getting the finger stuck up the, you know where.
Right.
And I don't do any of that stuff.
Nothing. When was the last time you actually did have blood taken from you?
It had to be at least 5 years when my doctor used to do it. But they don't do it anymore. Now they send me somewhere. I got to make another appointment to go some other godforsaken place out in Long Island.
But aren't you scared that you might have
the
beginning of something?
I'm fine.
But how do you know?
Because I'm eating. I quit smoking a couple of years ago.
There's genetics involved here.
Exception of weekends, occasionally, and
a couple of.
Yeah, no, there's no history in my family. My father is like he's 85 years old, living up in a shack up in the Catskills in the Irish Alps by himself.
You're fine.
He doesn't go to any doc. I mean, he did have a stroke a couple of years ago.
Guess what?
That's true. He did have a stroke.
There was no history of cancer in my family. My mother had a lump on her neck, and it turned out to be thyroid cancer. She had it taken out, and she's fine.
Yeah, well, okay, but my lump has receded.
It's gotten better.
My neck. Nick from Brooklyn. You're on with Bernie and Sid on WABC. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. Do you have a vehicle?
Yes, of course.
You do preventive maintenance?
I think I see where you're going with this.
I never do, by the way.
That's what I
don't.
call eating and exercising.
I never take the lug nuts could be falling off my tires until the damn thing stops in the middle of the road and never take it to the mechanic, ever.
Okay. All right, here's the deal. 50 years old. I'm 71. Every 6 months, we get a blood work done. PSA, you got to be under the number 4. Get blood work done. CBC, complete blood work. If anything shows up, infection will show up in your white cells. As far as a colonoscopy, you'll wake up with a smile with the Valium and Demerol drip.
You might wake up with a smile. I wake up with a grimace.
No, you won't know it. And
I don't swing that way.
No.
No, well, you don't have to swing,
Well, Nick is. It sounds to me like Nick is encouraging us to go to the doctor. He wants us to go.
Nice. You got family. You got to take care of them. You got to make sure you're alive as long as you can be and healthy, so they don't have to suffer with your problem.
Well, until I start experiencing some symptoms, the lump in my throat, notwithstanding,
but like a gout ball coming out of your neck.
that could be very simple. It's a salivary infection, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, probably. But it's gone away. The point with that is it's gone away by itself. It's actually the pain is gone and it has receded. Dave Navarro has called us back.
Is that right?
From the band
Jane's Addiction.
He's with us here. We had a contentious phone call with him earlier. Dave Navarro's on the phone with us. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning. Who's that last caller? Dr. Oz? Listen, I have a recommendation for Sid.
Yeah.
Don't go to the doctor, ever.
Hate to.
And if you do decide to go, drink a lot of vodka, get in your car, drive very fast. And if you need a digital, get my number.
There it is, Dave Navarro. Wow. See, I knew he liked me.
We love you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dave. The fake Dave Navarro, ladies and gentlemen.
That is some loving advice. James from Long Island, you're on with Bernie and Sid. Good morning, James.
Yes, I'd like to thank you guys because now I can't get that damn song out of my head, Doctor, Doctor.
I know, right?
And not only that, I have a gerbil check my colon.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to upset the gerbil with the stupid colonoscopy. It's a good.
As long as the string don't break, I'm all right.
Oh, boy. You see, it's a big joke until something very serious happens.
But
something serious could happen.
It could happen.
Well,
in fact, Jamie from Vernon, New Jersey is on the line with us right now. Jamie, well, welcome to Bernie and Sid. Good
Hello,
morning.
Jamie.
Yes, Bernie. My wife had a sore throat and went to the doctor. For 6 months she went, and they kept on giving her antibiotics. Went to another doctor. She has to have a bone marrow transplant because the blood test showed that her blood cells were not maturing. And she's having the bone marrow next month.
Oh, God.
Thank God everything. This is all within 50 days. The last 50 days.
Wow.
Found this out.
Well, thank God she's okay. You know, a very good friend of mine, a great sports director, actually, who does many Super Bowls and the Masters and all that stuff at CBS, Bob Fishman, was one of the very first to get the bone marrow transplant, decades ago, and he's doing great today. So we obviously, Jamie, wish your wife nothing but great success and health, and good luck to both of you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I must say with my gland here, swollen gland, it didn't affect the throat at all. That's the first thing I checked. No pain in the throat, swallowing, none of that. It was it's just like a lump on the side below the jaw.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, I just ignored it. Even though I thought in the back of my head I might be dying. But if it was a throat, I would definitely have gone to the doctor. But it wasn't.
Have you gone to get a colonoscopy yet?
I have never.
He's never done that.
Never received.
He's never done that.
No,
not good.
I'm not into it.
So you're never going to go.
I don't know. Maybe at some point. But it's all this time-consuming stuff. And
you know what
again,
happens?
no history in the family of it.
Here's what happens with guys like me and Bernard, okay? I'll give you a political example. This is just for me, okay? Every time Donald Trump is on the air yelling and screaming, a lie, another lie, and all he's doing for me is making Hillary Clinton more attractive. The more Donald Trump talks, and he could talk about foundations and stealing money and killing people, the more he talks, the less I like him.
And in fact, I feel the same way about Hillary, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
And in this case, the more people tell you that somebody, God forbid, is sick or dying because they didn't go to the doctor, all it does is make people like Bernard not go to the doctor.
In fact, yes, it's just
see?
There's no upside to it. You go there and they tell you nothing's wrong, and you just wasted like 3 or 4 hours.
Right.
Or you go there and they tell you you're gonna die in 6 months. I mean,
there's got to be something in between.
Depressing prospect.
They could catch something early. That's
I
the whole
know. I
reason.
understand that it's a form of denial, I guess. But guys have it.
Right.
I have it, and this lump in my jaw here is proof. But it went away.
It went away.
It has receded. It's still there,
right?
But the pain is gone, and it's instead of being golf ball size, it's marble size.
No, you can't see it now.
Right.
Here's Greg in Warwick. He's got a doctor story. Good morning, Greg. You're on with Bernie and Sid. Hello.
Hey, Dr. Sid, Dr. Bernie. Let me tell you my story. 2010, get up in the morning, go into the bathroom, start, emptying my kidney. I look down. It's blood coming out.
Oh, God.
Unbelievable. That continued for about I'd say 3 weeks. And finally it stopped and it went away.
Wait. You ignored
3
that?
3 weeks? Jesus.
You ignored that, Greg?
Yeah, I closed my eyes.
I'm not that sick.
What is wrong with you?
Check this out. Then, 6 months later, I'm trying to sleep, and it feels like there's a Viet Cong soldier stabbing me in my back with a bayonet. The pain was so bad. I said, what am I going to do? I have nothing of health insurance. I hadn't been to a doctor in 20 years. So I put my dirtiest, most raggy clothes on, went down to the local hospital over here in Warwick. They were super nice to me. So then they say, hey, you sit in the waiting room after they do all the scans, and they go, we'll be right back. So I come in and talk to this doctor. The doctor's sitting down. I walk, and he goes, okay. He goes, what do you think you have? And I go, I don't know. I think I had a kidney stone. He goes, here, look at this. He shows a picture of my kidney. The whole thing is covered by a huge tumor.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Yo, that's nasty, bro.
Yeah.
Not good. So what did they do? They took my kidney out and took the tumor with it, and that's now 2 years ago. I'm feeling good. But, guys, I need to get a health plan. Which one should I go with?
Greg, listen, first of all, thank you for sharing your story.
Yes.
Second
Guys,
of all,
don't be scared. Go. You'll die if you don't.
But, here's what's sad about us. You didn't go because you didn't have health insurance. We have great health insurance.
AFTRA's the best.
We have AFTRA health insurance.
Yeah.
And we still
idiots.
And you couldn't go because for a logical reason.
Right.
One more, Keith from Massapequa. Let's try. Keith has got a story for us.
Hey, Bernie. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Hey there, brother.
Listen, the reason I called was, you got to be careful because I'm 52 and had my appendix shot. Sorry, but you got to be careful with the doctor you go to because he was checking my phone.
Oh, your phone is sick. Maybe your phone needs to go to the doctor.
Exactly.
Something tells me he had a good story.
Yeah,
so.
it was good, too. He was trying to get his appendix checked, and he got something else checked out.
Yeah, so anyway, Sid's going to go to the doctor today. The doctor's going to put on a rubber glove, and he's going to hold your hand with one hand of his, and the other hand he's going to slip it. He'll dim the lights.
See, that's
He'll wear a gown,
right?
And he'll slip it around behind you.
Yeah,
and he'll say, he'll talk to you while he does it.
See, that's
the thing. And then boom, it'll happen just like that.
If I walk in and the lights are dim and there's Barry Manilow music playing and there's a smell of like I don't know, potpourri, then I know I'm in for a long, stiff afternoon.
Then he knows he's in the right place.
What possesses somebody to even want to go into that business to do that every day, every stinking day with some, you got from some fat slob, you got to
money,
some smelly slob, and you got to do that.
If you're a proctologist,
or even a general practitioner, they do that actually.
Well, I've thought about that, like proctologist, gynecologist. The person is nasty looking. It's got to be a rough job. Right?
Or even a dentist. You got to go into somebody's filthy mouth.
Oh,
how can you do it? The amount of schooling you have to put in order to get to have the honor of doing that.
And just so you know, a human's mouth is 10 times dirtier than a dog's ass. That is a fact.
I would rather drive a cab in the Bronx at night than
what you've done.
Waste my time with that nonsense. 1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid back. Scott Brown coming up.
The Bernie and Sid Show.
Guaranteed to be enormously successful.
It's about truth, the damn truth, New York's truth, the truth behind the BS. For New York, nothing at all in between. This is Bernard McGirt.
So Bernie.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
Back on Bernie and Sid on 77 WABC. And let's get right to it. On the line with us right now is the former Massachusetts senator, a Donald Trump supporter, also, by the way. He's been named actually in a lawsuit. They alluded to him. He's not a defendant or anything like that, but he was named in the lawsuit as having done some stuff that is totally false. In any case, Senator Scott Brown joins us on the Bernie and Sid Show. Good morning, Senator Brown.
Hey, good morning to you and your listeners.
Hey, before we get to the good morning, Senator. Before we get to that, whatever happened to your senator from Massachusetts, Liz Warren, Pocahontas? Did they put a muzzle on her all of a sudden? You don't hear from her anymore after she was.
Kurt Schilling said he may run against her, and that's kind of had to calm down a little bit. So,
all right.
And then obviously Trump's ignored her, so she doesn't have any. There's no banter back and forth. He's not taking the bait finally, which is appropriate because she's really got not much to say.
Right. Kurt Schilling actually said that in here because we pressed him on running for president in 8 years. He's like, nah, I didn't mean president. I meant locally in Massachusetts. He lives there, obviously, in your state. Right.
He's well-loved. And they'll say, oh, well, he had a bankruptcy with his studio, 38 studios. Well, you know what? He put his time, effort, money, signed on the dotted line, his reputation on the line to try to create jobs and business. Didn't have to. Had an idea. It didn't work out. And he obviously filed bankruptcy and is paying the price for it. And if that's all they got against him, then I'll vote for him every time.
All right, Scott, before we get to the Tantaros stuff and really the reason you're coming on today, Trump having, I guess, a decent week. I think he's went up 1 point, whatever it is. After a disastrous couple of weeks, the immigration speech coming up, he seems to be hammering home the Clinton email scandal. Again, another 15,000 emails. The Clinton Foundation, the quid pro quo, play for pay, all that stuff. Seems to be where Trump is going these days. Listen, the question's very simple. We know you're a Trump supporter. We know you want him to win. Is it going to be enough? Bottom line, Scott, is it going to be enough?
Well, that's up to the voters. If they're continuing to think that Hillary's being honest when she says she released all the emails, there's nothing there to see, and we got another 15,000. Now we're finding that all of the there's emails and correspondence between donors and getting meetings and access at the State Department. If that's what they want, if that's what people want, then no, he's not going to win. But I think he's been on message. He had a bad week, and I said it before. He has unforced errors that are just killing him. He needs to stay on message, and he needs to focus on not our party, not Paul Ryan, not anyone else, but he needs to focus on Hillary Clinton, and draw the distinctions between him and her. And I think when you talk about terror and trade and the economy and trustworthiness, ultimately people will say, you know what, I just don't trust her. I don't like her. Doesn't represent who I am, and they'll make a decision.
Right. So, yeah, it's early. It's early on. He had a slide in the polls, but I think Trump is on an upswing right now, Senator Brown. I think he's coming back. He's more disciplined, although I like the unteleprompter Trump myself. However, I know he has to do what he has to do, and you're a supporter. Now, let's move on to this lawsuit. And let me set it up, Senator Brown. We had this musician on from Jane's Addiction. His name is Dave Navarro on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah, sure. Dave, yeah.
So we talked to Dave, and I asked him about his there were these reports that he was dating Andrea Tantaros, and he goes, he copped an attitude. He says, why are you asking me about people I never dated? Ask me questions about people I don't even know, I never dated, et cetera, et cetera. And we thought he was being, a blank hole for his attitude. It turns out, according to sources, that he never met this Andrea Tantaros who claimed that she was dating him. And then that night, the lawsuit was revealed. Yesterday, it unfolded some of the details, and you were actually named in it. She said that you made some sexually inappropriate comments to her on the set, and that she would be fun to go to a nightclub with, et cetera, et cetera. And also that you snuck up behind her at the Fox cafeteria, you put your hands on her waist, and you say what to that, Scott Brown?
I thought yesterday when they were calling me, the reporters, that I said to myself, boy, what did Donald Trump do now? and then when they said, no, this is about you and the lawsuit with Fox, I'm like, what lawsuit with Fox? So I had no clue. This allegedly happened a year ago, and I forwarded to you the show. And I know you have it, and you guys, I think, have actually watched the show in which she's referring to the alleged, inappropriate comments. And I would ask that you post that and let people judge for themselves.
As a matter of fact, we're going to play it right now.
Yeah, we have it. We're going to play it. Play this, Senator Scott Brown. This is what he's talking about.
This is Senator Brown talking with Andrea Tantaros on the show, Fox News show.
And this is the show that she's referring to that made her upset.
Right. This is Outnumbered, and this is the show, yes. And at the end, you'll hear Senator Scott Brown say, wow, to, anyway, take a listen.
You have been asked about,
of course I have.
You posed naked for Cosmo.
Semi, but yes, thank you.
You were butt naked.
Yeah, you didn't see anything, though.
Okay.
This is uncomfortable.
Cosmo. It was Cosmo.
Were you asked about it? We're going to ask the senator if he would ever do Playgirl. And is asking students...
There you hear. He said, wow. By the way, that's posted on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, at Bernie said WABCRadio.com.
See, I would ask you this, Scott. At any point after that then, or at any point, did Andrea say anything to you, even allude, even intimate that she was aggravated and or felt disrespected that day? At all?
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, we left, and that was one of the better shows. We talked about women in the military. We talked about a whole host of issues, and that was a great show. People have to understand, we never see the top talent until they walk on the set, and everything we do is on set. So she's alleging that this happened on the set. Well, that would have been in front of 25 people, because you have 5 makeup artists, 5 cameramen, 5 sound people, and then you have the floor techs and the photo tech people. So what she's alleging, and that clip that I encourage people to watch was actually towards the second part of the show. That was the end of the second part of the show. And not only is she inquiring about me and what I did when I was 22 years old, continuing, and you heard Harris say, boy, you're making us uncomfortable, Andrea. I was very uncomfortable with her line of badgering towards me. So no,
which comes through.
Yeah, I was never alone. We're never alone. Never. And in the cafeteria, there's 75 to 100 people in this cafeteria. You don't sneak up on anybody.
Right.
It's a year ago, and since then I've not only signed a new contract, got a raise. I'm on almost every day. I just left appearing on Fox. I'm on every day, and the first I'm hearing about this is yesterday from a reporter.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
I mean, and then you also Dean Kane was on there, John Roberts. You know, I'll give you an example. So one of the reporters, I think it was John Roberts or somebody said, have you saved your eggs? Well, if you remember correctly, Sophia Varga and her husband were battling about, the reproductive rights or embryos and whether, who owned them. And I'm sure that was a segment on that particular topic. So
right, Sofia Vergara actually was the subject of that topic, and I can attest, by the way, to if you made those comments on set, you're all wired up. Everybody can hear you. I've been the one quote unquote one lucky guy many times.
I would have been fired immediately.
Absolutely,
if I had done anything.
And it would have been recorded, and everybody in the building would have heard it. All the technicians in the background. So it's impossible that you could have done that. But of
even
course,
when we're not live, we're being taped.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So look, just what do you think? And I know that it's only speculation, but what do you think is the motive? I mean, by just it's like a drive-by with you. I mean, why did she just?
I read it's a good question. I read the complaint. My wife and I sat down and kind of read it. Finally, someone gave us a copy, and it's not to the very end where you say, well, what's up? Like, what's she looking for? Where's the claim here? And the basis of it is she had a book, she wrote a book, she did it in violation of a contract allegedly. The Fox wouldn't allow her to promote the book on TV. They didn't renegotiate her contract. She didn't get an assistant to say, well, a lot of inside baseball things that I have no privy to, all management stuff that has nothing to do with me. And she was trying to portray an atmosphere,
culture.
Type of
That's right.
Collegial, frat boy atmosphere, right. And reciting various episodes on Outnumbers is to say, you know what, I did, this is what happened, and no one did anything about it. Well, no one spoke to me. I wasn't fired. I had actually Bill Shine call my house yesterday and say, listen, it's one of our best employees. This is not true. I was never approached. I was never asked to take him off any shows. As a matter of fact, he's on more shows than probably any of our contributors because he's so highly sought after.
I think Scott, you're an easy target. You're a good-looking guy. You're a friendly guy. So when she mentions you, it's like, oh, Scott Brown, that good-looking politician. He probably did do something. But I'll ask you this.
Of course. I've been down that train before as a public figure. Down the road before as a public figure who's been married for 30 years, who was aware of the Dutcher mentality. I am always keenly aware of what I do and say, keenly aware.
Right. Well, that's my point. I mean, Scott, aren't you pissed? Because at the end of the day, when she throws your name into this mix, right? You're married. You got a wife. What if God forbid your wife gets upset or there's a fight in the Brown house?
She was upset. Yeah, she was upset until Bill called the house and basically assured her that this is the first he's hearing about it. There's been no truth to the innuendo regarding me, and that was her only concern. And yeah, listen, I'm pissed. I'm a little flabbergasted, that I'm kind of caught in the struggle between the talent and management that somehow, to try to back up her claim somehow that I somehow fit into it. Or Dean Kane, Superman, is in there too. John Roberts, these incredible, great guys who are very, established, also brought in. It's kind of interesting.
It is, and it's the worst kind of slander. And once cleared, the cloud kind of lingers, and it makes you as Ray Donovan, the Secretary of Labor under Ronald Reagan. He said, "Where do I go to get my reputation back once you're cleared?" Because I mean, it's a horrible, horrible thing. But as I said earlier at the beginning here, this Dave Navarro guy, I think that's very telling. That little episode there between her and him. Again, that they never even met, and she put out the rumor that they're dating, et cetera, et cetera. So
the good news is, guys, is that tapes don't lie, and it's right there for everybody to see how it went in the show. And if she was so upset, boy, you wouldn't know it because the way she's kind of badgering and poking fun at me and my past. So
yeah. So listen, let's move on. Look, and we wish you well there, and
you'll be fine.
People believe you. We believe you.
We believe
everybody
you.
on your side.
Yeah.
And you're a good American hero who served the nation in the National Guard for 30 years, and you're going to be back in office, maybe serving in a Trump administration at some level, I hope.
It's up to the voters.
That's true. Now, let me just ask you quickly about Trump's softening on his tough immigration stance. He actually told Sean Hannity last night he's going to soften his position on it, presumably not going through with these proposed deportations. What do you think about this sort of what people are calling a flip-flop?
Yeah, I don't think it's a flip-flop at all. He's also indicated that he wants the law to be followed, and if people followed the law, we wouldn't be in this position. And that's not just the Obama administration. That's past administrations as well. There's plenty of blame to go around. And I'm not sure what he's specifically referring to, but I know for a fact he's going to build the wall, and Mexico is going to pay for it, either through deferred payments from what we give them in aid, or increasing fees for people coming back and forth into our country, or some type of other arrangements. I also know that he's going to make sure that we get all the illegals out of here who have criminal records and who have been released by this administration, going to get them on the first plane out of here. When it comes to others that may have humanitarian issues, or they were here rightly and then made a mistake, overstayed, there may be a process to allow that fixed, but they need to go in the back of the line, and while that happens, they're not going to get any benefits at all over our citizens. That's my understanding of his position.
Scott, let's break this down honestly here, okay? He talks about this thing being rigged. It is. I mean, let's face it. Hillary Clinton wakes up with a ton with the Electoral College, but she just wakes up without doing anything. That's what the thing is all about, the Electoral College, not about polls and all that nonsense. And she's got a huge edge to begin with. And if any of these polls are right, if they're right, and he's polling this badly with Latinos, with African Americans, with women, let's be honest. How's he going to do this? How is he going to forget about immigration? Forget about whether she's crooked Hillary. Just on the numbers, Scott. How is he going to do this?
You know, it's certainly a daunting task, and the hope is that you'll have these Reagan Democrats and people who have been so disenfranchised over decades that they're going to come out and be heard once again. And there's a lot of, hopefully, Brexit-type comments. Hey, you support us leaving,
right.
European Union? Oh, no, absolutely. And then they get off the phone and said, yeah, hell yeah, we're going to get out.
Damn right.
I'm hoping there's some of that stuff as well. And I thought he hit it on the head the other day when he was addressing the African-American community. Like, what did they get to lose?
Right.
The African-American and Latino community is doing so wonderfully under this administration where they don't allow school choice. They're basically getting handouts instead of hand-ups and opportunities to go out and work and make a great living. That's what this is about. And so I'm hopeful that when it comes right down to it, you still have, a little over 70 days left, and that they'll continue to stay on message and continue to have people understand that there is a choice out there. And if you don't like him per se, Governor Pence is a great guy. He's doing a great job, and he's going to surround himself with wonderful people that will help, get our country back on track. That's my belief.
You're right about that. And by the way, that's his appeal to most of us. What the hell do we all have to lose by giving them a shot? I say nothing. And Reagan and Bush 41 were behind at this point in the race and went on to win. Scott Brown from Massachusetts, former Senator Scott Brown, we thank you for coming on the Bernie and Sid show.
Yes.
Hi, guys. Good to hear you.
You too, Scott.
A pleasure. A good man, Scott Brown on Bernie and Sid. Back after this.
Bernie and Sid, two brains, one show.
Guaranteed to be enormously successful.
77 WABC.
Hey, this is Kurt Schilling of the 2001 Diamondbacks, who beat the Yankees, and the 2004 Red Sox, who also beat the Yankees. You're listening to the Bernie and Sid show, and I'm a huge fan of Sid's.
Hey, Kurt.
We know that's not true.
That hurts.
Kurt is a diehard Donald Trump guy. Maybe worse than you. Maybe.
He is. He's a right-thinking individual.
No, he's not.
Hey, this...
he's a great pitcher, though.
All these revelations that have come out about the Clinton Global Foundation.
Yes,
I know they don't resonate with people out there, but
let me just say this.
Oh, go ahead.
But I do believe they exist. In other words, I'm not saying that hasn't happened. I'm saying
that they use it as a slush fund for themselves in a way to get
believe it.
rich, et cetera, patronage jobs and a lot of corruption. Right.
Yeah. I'm not saying it doesn't. What I'm saying is I dislike Donald Trump. It's gotten to the point.
I understand. I really do understand.
No, but I'm not denying that something exists, just so you know. I believe that the foundation is crooked. I believe they've done some very unsavory things, including taking money from countries they shouldn't. And I do believe that they should probably be in prison. And with all that said, I couldn't vote for Donald Trump.
Hillary for prison, baby. Well, anyway, the next month, the Clinton Global Initiative, they meet for the 12th and final annual session because they're going to, they're not going to do it anymore.
Well, that's not true. That's
if
if
she wins, of course. That caveat, right. I should say that. And there's a possibility she won't win. Anyway, first of all, they never mentioned the Clinton Global Foundation one time at the Democratic National Convention. Everybody says, they do these great things, these wonderful things. People's lives have been saved. They never mentioned it one time at the convention. So next month, they have this 12th and final meeting, maybe final.
Right.
President Obama is going to be in town for the UN stuff, and he's not going to speak. He spoke there every year before at it. He's not going to speak this year.
Well, he checked out anyway. I heard you play a clip this morning, and I almost fell to my knees.
But this is more significant than he just said, listen, what do I care? I got 5 months left.
I'm done with politics.
We already knew he had that mentality, that attitude that screw you, I'm done. I did my time.
So is your point that even Obama recognizes it's a criminal operation?
Yes, that everybody should realize.
We do, though.
All right, but you see, these things need to be pointed out.
Well, you do every day.
They need to be.
You do every day, and guess what? No one's not going to vote for Hillary or vote for him because of it.
You may be right, or it may reach critical mass in some people's minds. I don't know. That's our hope. 1-800-848-9222.
As you say, keep hope alive, my man.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
I'm with you.
Back after Noma the News.
The Bernie and Sid Show.
It's fun to listen to.
800-848-WABC.
There could be an explosion at any time.
Get in. Get Truth. 77 WABC.
All right, well, here it is, the much-anticipated debut of Sid on Sport. I find myself every single day arguing about, like f***ing Eli Manning. So I love Carmelo Anthony. I think he's a great ball. No, he's not a f***ing great player. He's a great f***ing scorer. Eli Manning on one side of my ass, and Carmelo Anthony on the other side of my ass. I'm going, what the f*** am I doing? You can't have guys slapping their wives around and playing f***ing football the next week.
What the hell did we just witness, or
what was that?
Did we listen to here?
That was the debut of the new Sid podcast.
Oh, yes.
Sid on Sports, available at WABCRadio.com. We had Brian Baldinger, NFL Network, break down week 3 of the preseason. And the beautiful thing is,
Baldy,
it's uncensored, so you can talk like that.
That appeals to me. Yeah. I don't know if it appeals to everybody, but...
It's Sid Unplugged, so it's awesome.
Yeah. Sid Unplugged.
I remember a long time ago when I first started with Imus, and again, I'm going on 17 years. You said something once, and you nailed it, man. You're like, you get these comedians, like George Carlin was a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, he's an intellect. He was a very smart, cerebral comedian.
Insightful.
Right.
He engaged in social commentary with his comedy, unlike Rodney Dangerfield, who was set up, punchline.
Right. But you used to talk about, I remember the first time I was on there, you talked about the night at the Apollo, where a guy would just go up on stage, a black guy, and he would just talk about farting, or he'd fart, and you'd be like, and these people are bending over, they can't control themselves.
Backflips.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yes. What was it called? The show that was on TV. It was actually the comedy... what the hell was it?
Was it
Def Comedy Jam?
Def Comedy Jam or something, right. And you would do the voice and all that stuff. But you were right. It's like...
like somebody'd say... like I put a booger on the window.
Right. And you'd be like,
people are just like rolling in the aisles, doing backflips, and and obviously, yes. Well, what's your point?
My point is, you can just curse.
I'm making your point. I didn't know what it is.
You curse on a podcast.
Oh, right. Exactly.
And people think it's fantastic.
Yes.
There's nothing smart about it. There's nothing great about it. I mean, it's like when you do XM Sirius, you do satellite radio, and you can curse up a storm. It doesn't make you any better, any funnier. I think it's a shock value, too, because you hear us on this show, we can't say that. Then you put on a podcast, and the F word is all over the place, but it doesn't really make you any funnier.
No, it doesn't. It's used for effect and for as a crutch by some comedians. But as far as Def Comedy Jam and the Apollo Theater, sometimes I think like black comedians are just they can be funny. I think they're funny.
Yeah,
I think they're hilarious.
So do I.
Just in the delivery is fantastic.
Absolutely.
And you could be talking like if I said, "Oh, I put a booger on the window,"
right?
You'd be sitting there looking at me like, "Yeah,"
right.
But if the black comedian says it, in the delivery,
how does he say
it can be hilarious.
Well, how does he say
I don't know how he says it. I'm just saying it can be very, very
How
funny.
would Jason Williams say it?
I don't know. Sid.
Oh, come on.
Hey, listen.
Bring him back.
So
Seance.
I'm going to come on your podcast. I want to drop the. I mean, it feels. I did that on your Miami podcast.
Yes, you did. You were
and
great.
I was felt very liberated.
Biggest numbers we got in the Uncensored Sid Miami podcast was you.
Really?
Dead serious. And we had some big name athletes and entertainers, and you were the biggest number we got. Wasn't even close.
It's almost like taking your clothes off and walking around naked on Fifth Avenue. I don't know something.
What? Have you done that?
No, I haven't.
Maybe. Do you know there's a red
maybe
light?
Once.
There's a red light that goes on every now and then under the 6 on the clock in here. I don't know what that's about. It's the oddest. We have a clock in here, and under the 6, a red light goes on every now and then. Is somebody like?
It could be
somebody back in the Cumulus headquarters watching us.
You could be. Well, but I mean, what's to watch? They're going to put up cameras here in a little while.
I know, but it's.
That's probably every time you guys get dumped.
Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Oh, maybe I actually see a red light.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that montage you just played that Gil put together.
Yeah.
Maybe Craig dumped that because the
it's too close.
The F-bombs were
too close.
Yeah,
because I keep seeing a red light on the 6. I'm like, what's going on up there?
Only you guys
is
need.
Is that it, Chris?
Is that right?
Well, for you guys, it should be lit solid, right? I mean,
we need the listeners to call us. Tell us if they heard that.
Right. Actually, Keith Smolin puts up a page. He put it up from day one. The unofficial, it's not affiliated here with WABC, the Bernie and Sid Facebook page, or our Twitter account here at Bernie and Sid. Keith Smolin, the unofficial 77 WABC Bernie and Sid page, which I know, Flipper, you're on. He gets a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
He says, show discussion August 24th. Should Bernie go to the doctor? Mr. Imus seems to appear sicker and sicker each year, and he's got a team of doctors around him. Also,
that's not fair.
Great interview with former Senator Scott Brown, one of the best shows I've heard on ABC in a long time. That's from Keith Small.
My man, my boy.
We did have Scott Brown on, so.
Yes, we did. Scott Brown takes a lot of umbrage to being named in that Fox News lawsuit by this former employee, apparently disgruntled, Andrea Tantaros.
And you were on with her a bunch of times, too, on Outnumbered,
I
right?
sat right there on the couch. Was the one lucky guy at least a dozen times with her.
Did she ever try to touch you?
Right. Did you ever feel like there was...
I think, did she ever try to touch me?
Yes.
Not her.
Right.
Okay.
Not her, no.
If I would have said to you 5 years ago...
But I mean, look...
But she would be doing this, you would have said, you're nuts, right? Or did you think that she was kind of tough even then?
I always thought she was tough, and she always had an edge about her, and she dressed very, very killer, kick ass, hot.
Right.
The blank me shoes and the tightest. She's very hot for a hot chick.
Yeah.
So what I think at this point, and brilliant girl, by the way.
Right.
She was. I said that to Dave Navarro. She was the edgy one on the show. She was sort of like the heart and soul, I thought, of the show. She brought the noise, the edginess, the sexiness, and all of that stuff.
Right.
So would I think she would be hurling around these accusations right now?
Never.
I mean, an unwanted sexual advance. If somebody makes an advance to you, I mean, I guess you shouldn't do that at the workplace. I never do, and I never would in a place like that, of course. But if somebody did, and you just say no, and that's it.
That's it.
I think should be the way.
You got to
sue
them. Yeah, I mean, if they come back and keep doing it, then of course that's a whole other story. But if it's once and it's not that big a deal,
to make it up, though, as Scott Brown alleges, and he has credibility in saying that she's making it up because she said that she alleged she had a relationship with Dave Navarro,
right?
And it turns out, according to a lot of sources, she never met Dave Navarro,
met him.
according to him.
Right.
Now, can Scott Brown sue her?
That's a good question.
For defaming
No,
his
of
name?
course he can.
That's what I was
going
to ask Scott Brown. If this turns out to be false, Can he counter-sue?
He can, but he'd be silly to do that. If I'm Scott Brown, I just let this thing go. See you, goodbye.
Can all of those named in the suit sue her now? Because now their reputation is ruined.
Well, no, it's not. I think it depends upon Roger Ailes. Let's say he'd be the one to sue her, Gretchen Carlson, everybody. If, in fact, one day we found out that all this was a lie, for Scott Brown to get into the murk and this nonsense with her doesn't make. What's he really going to get out of it? I mean,
she's
it doesn't make any
she's
sense.
trying to ruin his reputation.
You know, it is in his pain. You know, there's some mental anguish going on right now with him and his wife, and it's a terrible.
You
thing.
can. I think it depends upon what you lose.
And even if what she alleged was true, just read what she alleged.
Didn't seem all that bad to me.
I mean, being grabbed around the waist is not bad.
No, but if it's unwanted, it's not cool.
Right. You can't do that.
But still.
You can't do that.
Right.
I mean,
who bitched first at Fox News, her or Gretchen Carlson?
It was Gretchen Carlson, and it just seemed. And
I don't think so. I think Andrea. I think this comes to light after Gretchen Carlson. Nope, it was in that order.
It was
Gretchen
Carlson filed a lawsuit, and then Megyn Kelly said, "Hey, you know what? Roger Ailes inappropriately hugged me 10 years ago."
Right.
Believe it or not, she actually said that.
Yeah.
As though Roger didn't have enough headaches at the time when Gretchen filed the suit.
Right.
And then, just a couple of days ago, Andrea Tantaros apparently came up with the idea she's going to file a sexual harassment lawsuit as well.
I'm surprised at Megyn Kelly because of the shot that Roger Ailes gave her. Even if he did hug her wrong. I mean,
10 years ago?
The guy put you on the 9 p.m. slot. That he gave you a shot to do that.
I don't know if I would say that, but you're a woman. It's your perspective.
I just think it's wrong to do that to someone who gave you a shot. You never bite the hand that fed
He's
you.
kind of an old school guy. I mean, it's not. He was. As other people have pointed out, what he did changed the landscape of journalism and politics in this country. What he did was monumental.
Well, why stab him in the back?
All right.
Well,
why do that?
That's a good. You may be asking a good question.
But then, of course,
I'm not a woman, so
I would never do it.
Well, you would never do it. You're the other extreme. You offered anal just to get the job producing this show. Are you kidding me? I mean,
oh my
but you
God.
don't bring up something from years ago.
Yeah, really, Sid.
And then, this guy Roger, whatever. I don't know him. I never met him, but he gave her this shot, and then she just did this to him. I just think it's wrong. She wouldn't be famous without him.
Flirty Flipper is so liberal. She is a Trump supporter, but she's a very liberal girl.
Right.
So I mean, it's not like
she wouldn't be where she is without him, right? That's how you got to look at it.
100%
He gave her
true.
the shot, and look what she did to him.
And it wasn't what she was just piling on.
You don't do that to
Megyn
people.
Kelly. It seems that she was piling on. I don't know. I wouldn't cast aspersions
none of us
on
here
anybody.
like Megyn Kelly. And this is just another reason why not to like her, because she's proven to be a disloyal, horrible person.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
you don't
some
do that
people
to
might
people
think
that have given you shots. Yeah, I feel you don't do that to people.
Anyway, Sid has a doctor's appointment today.
Yeah,
and he's
better
very
go.
upset. And he went to Chipotle yesterday.
What does that mean?
And so you said your ass was on fire from Chipotle.
It was burning last night.
But why go to Chipotle?
That ever happened to you? Like you keep going to the bathroom so many times, and
Yes.
you wipe, and your tushy burns.
Stop.
It's burning.
But that is a Chipotle, a manifestation of going spending $10 on a dinner at Chipotle.
$8.
I know it's ridiculous,
But I ate an extra hot sauce, and then I wonder why my ass is on fire.
it's terrible.
Doesn't make any sense. does it?
Self-inflicted. Now, so today
You know I go to Chipotle three times a week.
So when the doctor, when you get the prostate exam at the doctor,
he's not going anywhere near
You know
that
what's
today.
gonna
Trust
happen?
me. His finger will burn off.
and his nose. 1-800-848-9222. Bernie and Sid. Back after this.
Bernie and Sid. 77 WABC.
Sid.
Yeah.
You would Chad Lopez?
I would what?
I mean, you'd go out to lunch with him, right? You go to a nightclub with him, wouldn't you?
For a job or a raise?
Sure. He gave you the job.